Okay, look at another case. Please go to your page 128, your slide page 128. So let's look at another case to make sure you understand the concepts. Okay, so today, right now, your company sell another bond. You need the money, so you decide to sell another bond. Okay, so you sell the bond. For this bond, what's your promises? Remember, always we have four basic promises. First is principal. Second is maturity date. Third is contractual interest rate. Last one is interest payment date. So did you find out? Same promises, same bond as last case, right? So what's the difference? The difference is what investors want. So here I told you what investors want. Market interest rate. Did you find out? So the only difference is what investors want is different. So for this case, your bond is issued at discount 折价发行 issue at face value 面额发行 or issue at premium 溢价发行 which case? Which one? Issue at which one? Your promises. What's your promises? 10%, right? What investors want? 9.4794%. So your promise is higher than what they want, right? So do they like your products? Yes, they like your products. So they are willing to pay more money to buy your products. They are willing to pay more money, lend you more money, right? Okay. So bond is issued at premium, okay? 溢价发行. So this bond is issued at premium, 溢价发行. So what does it mean? Means your promises higher than what investors want. So you could issue at a premium, 溢价发行. So what does it mean, 溢价发行, issue at a premium? Your bond selling price will be higher than principal, right? Okay. So your selling price higher than principal. So for this case, before we do any math, I know the number, how much money I could borrow. I know the number should be higher than $100,000, the principal, before you do any math, right? Okay. Any questions? So based on this, we want to do the math, find out the market value of the bond, selling price of the bond, how much money you could borrow. So what's N, what's I in this case? Okay. So what's N, what's I? N, how many times the interest incurred happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N is 5, right? Because interest incurred happened 5 times. So I know N is 5. What's I? What investors want? Market interest rate. So what's I? 9.4794. Okay. So based on N, based on I, then we could figure out how much money we could borrow today. Any questions so far? But again, the number is so ugly. So usually for ugly number, you cannot use accounting tables. You cannot. You could only use Excel or financial calculators to find out the numbers. Okay. So based on N is what? 5. I is 9.4794. Based on N is 5. I is 9.4794. Then we will find out selling price. Did you find out? Issue at premium 溢价发行. What does it mean? You could borrow the money higher than principal. Why? Because you offer interest rate higher than what investors want, right? Okay. So that's our expectation. You could borrow more money. Why? Because your promises. Because your promise. What's your promise? Your promise is contractual interest rate 10% higher than what investors want. They want market interest rate is 9.4794%. Okay, any questions? So we've done for 3 cases for you guys. Issue at discount 折价发行 issue at face value 面额发行 issue at premium 溢价发行 So depends on your promises with market interest rate, what investors want. Okay? Any questions? If you don't have any questions, please go to your notes, finish page 32 and page 37. Go to your note, finish page 32 and 37. Page 32 and page 37. Figure out on the first date how much money you could borrow from creditors. So finish page 32 and 37. Page 32 and page 37. Figure out how much money you could borrow from creditors. Page 32. Please finish your promises first. Figure out what's your promises. After you understand what's your promises, then you should understand based on the promises you have. Based on the promises you have, then you should understand how much money you could borrow. And also, it's better to tell me the bond is issued at a discount or issued at a premium. Oh, we asked you already, right here. Your bond is issued at a discount or issued at a premium. If you understand how to finish page 32, totally the same for your page 37. Any part, any question, just raise your hand, let me know. I'll answer you the question you have. Okay, if you down page 32, so let you double check. So this is page 32. So you should understand what's your promise. Your promise is principal $100,000. Your second promise is 10%. Okay. So what they want, market interest rate 12% for 1 year. But you know how often we pay the interest? Semi-annually, right? So semi-annually means what? Every 6 months. We pay the interest, right? So you should understand how often you pay the interest. So 12% for 1 year, 6% for each period. Okay? So the bond, before you do the math, you should understand the bond issue at discount or issue at premium. Issue at discount. Why is that? Because your promises, you promise what? You promise 10%, right? So 10% is your promises. What they want? They want 12%. So because your promise is 10% lower than what they want, 12%. So 10% your promises lower than 12% investors want. That's why you could only sell the bond with low price. Okay, low price. Any questions? We just repeat the concept again, again, and again. So actually, I mentioned the same content, just like 1.5 hours ago, right? Okay. So what's the maturity day? Your promises? January 1st, 2030. How often we pay the interest? Every 6 months. So January 1st, July 1st. Okay? So you pay the interest. Remember, interest payment is your promises. So you promise pay the interest 10% contractual interest rate for how often? Every 6 months. So this is your promise contractual interest rate. Based on your promises, how often? Every 6 months. So each period we had to pay interest $5,000. Okay? So based on each time $5,000, this is the first money we had to pay. Second money is what? Principal, right? Okay. So based on the promises we have, what's the end? Each year, 2 times. For how many years? 5 years. So totally 10 times, right? Market interest rate 6% for investors. They want market interest rate for each period. Each period in this case every 6 months, right? So based on N is 10, I is 6%. Could you find out the present value? Okay, two money. First money is what? First money is principal. Second money is what? Your interest. But remember, principal, interest, that's futures money, right? So based on futures money, we had to make it become today's money. So you could look at N is 10, I is 6%. Look at table 3 and table 4, right? So here you find out the number from table 3, right? For annuity, you could find out the number from table 4. Okay? So based on the promises we have, we try to figure out your promises present value, your promises in the future. What is their value today? Okay, so that's how we find out 92,339. So what does it mean? It means there's the money you could borrow today. Today. Okay, any questions? And did you find out this amount of money lower than principal? So just meet our expectation. So what's our expectation? We sell the bond, issue the bond at discount, right? Okay. So we expect that what? Here we expect what? Issue at discount. So that's our expectation at the beginning. We expect the bond will be issued at discount. So after you do the math, yeah, indeed, we got the number. You could borrow the money issue at discount.折价发行. Okay. Based on this, please finish page 37 if you haven't finished yet. 5 minutes more. If you have any problem, please raise your hand. Let me know. Then I will answer you the questions. Or you can ask your classmates. Just try to understand what we are doing now. Okay? 不记得没关系，你只要能查表就可以了。OA 叫 ordinary annuity 普通年金 ordinary annuity。But even though you don't remember it, it's okay. It doesn't matter. PVF present value factor it's okay. You don't memorize this. It's not that important because when you take another financial course, they will use different signs, different terms to describe the same thing. So I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't need to memorize it. You just understand the concept. So even though you didn't write down the formula, it doesn't matter. The key point is, sorry, later. The key point is understand the concept. So even though you didn't write down the formula, it's not that important. PVF dash OA, not minus OA. So it's PVF dash OA means try to find out the present value of annuity 年金现值。It's not minus, it's dash. Okay, are you done already? So let's look at page 37. Page 37. Actually, totally the same. So if you understand page 32, you should understand page 37. Okay? So still the same bond, same promises. Principal $100,000. Contractual interest rate 10%. The only difference is what? Market interest rate is different. So in this case, market interest rate is 8%. So 8% each year, 8%, or 4% each period for every 6 months. Before we do the math, do you know issue at discount or issue at premium? I know issue at premium. Why is that? Because your promise is 10%. They want only 8%. So you offer them more than what they want. Okay? So because your promise is 10%, that's your promise. Higher than 8% is what investors want. Okay? So your promise is 10%. Investors want 8%. You offer higher than what they want. So of course, investors are very happy, right? So they like your products. Since they like your products, they are willing to lend you more money. They are willing to pay more money. Okay? So that's why your selling price is higher because you could sell the products with higher price because investors like your products. So investors like your product. That's right. You could sell it with a higher price. Okay? Others totally the same. Any questions? So still, based on the promises you have, we want to figure out how much money you could borrow from creditors, right? So what's N, what's I? And still 10, right? Because we pay the interest every 6 months. So each year 2 times for 5 years. What's I? What investors want? Investors want only 4% for each year. Okay, so you just based on your first promise is principal. Second promise is interest. So based on your first promise, principal. Second promise, interest. We want to know their value, today's value, right? So what's N? 10. What's I? 4%. What's N? 10. What's I? 4%. Okay? Then you just double check what? Double check the tables. So from table 3, we do the math for you guys. From table 4, we do the math for you guys. Then after you do the math, did you find out how much money you could borrow? Higher than principal, right? Issue at premium, higher than principal. 溢价发行。Okay, any questions? So usually we have only 3 cases. Issue at a discount, 折价发行. Issue at face value, 面额发行. Issue at premium, 溢价发行. So you could sell your bond with higher price, low price, depends on what your promises with market interest rate, what investors want. That's it. So compare your promises with market interest rate, what investors want. Then you will figure out you could sell it with higher price or low price. Okay, any questions? So that's the first issue we want to figure out. How much money we could borrow from creditors. After we understand how much money we could borrow from creditors, then next hour we will tell you we want to discuss the further issues after this. So make sure you understand the first issue, and based on this, we want to discuss the further issues. So take a break.